The work is starting to slowly pay off for the Zealots here as they are up 2-0 over Fnatic. Sure, last week we had them go to a Game 5 against Team Liquid. The week before that, against Granite Gaming, went to game number 5. Zealots so far still haven't earned a win here in the HGC, but today they're trying to change that, and they are looking pretty darn solid.
They are, and Fnatic looks very, very shaky. So this is going to be a do or die. Do they at least take a map? Do they take two? Is it a reverse sweep? Or do they just completely fall to the Zealots here and fall to a 1-4 score? And let's not mince words here. If Fnatic actually loses this today, then their dreams of a Western Clash participation are pretty over.
That it is. Let's go to Battleground number 3 and see what exactly will happen here. Will Zealots finish out the series with a strong 3-0, or Fnatic kick it into high gear? We're going to Cursed Hollow. First pick, over to Zealots.
Fnatic is already in a bad spot when it comes to the Western Clash, since they're currently on the 5th pick, on the 5th position, and we have leftovers in 4th spot. But there, of course, are still 3 matches left for both of these teams, so there's a lot that can happen. If Fnatic loses to the Zealots, on the other hand, it's all said and done. Then it would take for some really, really crazy results to still bring Fnatic to the offline event. So right now, this is one where they hopefully have used those 5 minutes well, because if not, then this could definitely be an 0-3 for the Zealots. We have currently great drafting and shot calling from Quacknix here, making sure that the team is on the same page, and then of course the execution level that we've seen in the previous game there, where everybody is just really flowing well together and bringing those timings in.
Shad in particular has had a couple moments there. I mean, we saw the Malfurion route in game number 1. That set up
DOE,
the kills,
exactly.
Right?
Triple.
Good moments where he saved Jaina, making sure to bring out that Dragon Queen too, and be effective with it. Alex is one of those heroes that if you're being a little bit too off when your Dragon Queen use it, or even the Cleansing Flame, suddenly your team can falter, and Shad delivering today.
Also, when you look at the drafting, the thought process of Fnatic was definitely to ban out some of Quacknix's heroes. The problem is that Quack has now played Jaina twice, and he destroyed on her.
Yeah.
So you can't just simply go into the Grey main ban just simply because you feel that you can target Quacknix. And let's not forget, there's also a bit of ego involved here. I mean, we know that these guys are friendly, and that's something that we have heard previously as well, echoed by, I mean, not only Shrimpy, but Quack talked about it too, but there's definitely a bit of a rivalry right now, since both of them are the leaders of their representative team. So there's a bit of ego involved here too, and that could be another big problem for them.
I wouldn't expect anything different. I mean, that's why these guys are competitive players, right? Whenever you are in a situation where you are pushed to the limit, you want to be able to exceed and, of course, prove your prior teammates wrong, or, of course, show that, hey, I am someone that was picked up well here. Zealots picking up Quack as a shot caller. You want to prove to them that that was the right call, and this is a great way to do it here. As Diablo, Tassadar, Abathur have been banned out. Cursed Hollow, our 4th ban. Will it be a global like Dahaka? No, it's going to be Genji, as he won't get through this ban phase like we saw on game number 2.
So there's a few heroes that definitely have to be addressed during the draft, so that has at least to cross Fnatic's mind. First of all, we have seen Zamani now twice on URL, and he did well. She is still insanely powerful and has been a staple in HGC ever since she got brought in, and especially after the buffs to her. So that's something that Fnatic has to address in some way. Are they still fine with going into a Blaze composition where they give URL up? Jaina is another concern. Those are probably the biggest two for me. And we have them moving away from Blaze. So on the big map like Cursed Hollow, they're going for Dehaka, last hope on one of the strongest heroes. And again, Deckard Kane here, more of a standard support for Fnatic as well. Keeps URL in play though.
It's always been a strategy against the Zealots to try and mess with their main baseline foundation composition in some way or some form. If they have a Diablo Blaze mix up, if you can pull that away, usually they seem to falter a little bit, but whenever they have a strong foundation, you want to try and mess it up a little bit. And we might be able to see that a little bit here from Fnatic as we continue to go throughout the draft. That goes all the way back to ADRD Zealot days, whenever they would have a combination that they just did well with. Garrosh, Malfurion comes to mind. So looking into Zealots here, we now have Hanzo, Malfurion, and Muradin. So good for the Battleground here, good for clearing out those bosses. And of course, really good control. Stormbolt into a root usually equals a kill.
Yeah, and especially as you mentioned bosses, if you win a team fight and you can sneak a boss, you can go into so many different plays. A double boss play is always an option. You can just simply try and push with that. It's just like the clear power that is so strong for him.
Yep.
Li Ming now, again banned out, since this Hanzo Li Ming setup is a combo that the Zealots actually preferred for a long time. I'm really curious if we're going to see Jaina again. Quack looked good on her. They could go into a lot of different heroes now for Quacknix for sure, but that was a great hero for them to just like follow up any kind of CC composition as we have now with the Stormbolt into Root with extra burst damage. Depends a little bit on what Fnatic picks next, but still, it is for sure an option.
Zeratul and Raynor, they are on the Raynor train.
Mm-hmm.
Giddy up. Zeratul comes out, Raynor as well. Still an option here for Zealots is to move into ball set, which could be helpful against Dahaka too. So don't forget about that one.
It's actually a good point, yeah.
Against Zeratul, that becomes a little bit worse. You don't want to be in a spot where Zeratul is able to pick you off.
It's definitely a bit of a problem going up against Zeratul if you want to play Fawcett, but considering, I mean, for Quadnix, it's always a bit of an option if they feel they're going to be safe enough with this. It's a bit doubtful that against this lineup you would do it, but yeah. Blaze taken, no Urel in this game, and Phoenix.
Final pickup. Main tank coming in. What do you get here from Breeze? Is Johanna the pick? Johanna's falling off a little bit. It is going to be Johanna, though. Who do you like draft-wise for this Battleground? Names taken away.
I honestly think the names taken away exercise is silly.
Names taken away.
No, we're not
who do
taking
you
names
pick?
away.
If you're in Hero League, who are you picking?
Hero League?
Yeah. Who are you picking on these two teams?
Okay, if that is a Hero League game, the first thing that I would do, I would take
Would you rather
I would take a dice, and then I would roll, and I would see who wins. I thought that's how it works,
That's
right?
fair analysis, honestly.
And
it really is.
Then you end up with a 50% win rate.
There you go.
No, but honestly, I think both teams have a really solid draft. It just depends on execution here. I feel for both of them, you can make really good arguments. I like what we're having for Zealots because they have a lot of teamfight sustain, especially if they would consider going into Tranquility. Now, we could see Twilight Dream here too. So fights around objectives and around boss are great for them. Then again, Fnatic has the global aspect to their own composition, and they have Zeratul, so it's an execution point. Both of them have definitely a lot of great tools. It's just a question, can they execute their game plan? Because it's obviously different for them.
For me, 7 to about 13, I give it to the Zealots. If they can have a strong mid game and get a curse, I can see them steamrolling this game. But if we get to 16 in a pretty relatively even state, Zeratul should pop off online when he gets to 16. He becomes incredible at that point. So let's see what happens as we head into it. Game number 3, Cursed Hollow. On the left, the Zealots. Chris on Phoenix, Zarmony on Blaze, Quacknix on Hanzo, Shad on Malfurion, and Robodoba to play Muradin.
And to the right side, they're playing for the Western Clash, and they're playing for potentially BlizzCon towards the end of the year. Fnatic with Last Hope on Dehaka, Mene on Zeratul, Breeze on Johanna. We have Shrimpy again on the Raynor, DPS, and Smexy on Deckard Kane. Fnatic has basically accepted that this is the worst start they ever had into HGC, and they already talked about how they feel it's going to be tough for them to go to the Western Clash, if it is at all a possibility still. And that everything they do from here on out just matters for BlizzCon. Make sure that you get those map wins, that you get those points in the match score too, so that at the end of Phase 2 you are still in a position where you can at least go to that event. But right now things are getting worse and worse as Fnatic is 0-2 against Zealots. And this is currently a massive, massive problem. And for the Zealots, this is of course a dream. 2-0 against Fnatic after having such a tough start into Phase 2. Must feel pretty amazing, but they're not quite there yet. They need one more map win to flush out the series.
Top lane needs to be careful though. A bit of a gank setup against Chris, but he is playing as safe as possible. Doesn't see Dahaka. 3-man rotation actually for Fnatic. And they have Raynor, Deckard Kane, and Johanna all together. But Zealots are taking their time, realizing, okay, there's no one near us. They have the Sonic Arrow. They realize they aren't being flanked. They take a turret quickly in this bottom lane. Beautiful to open up, especially with that being a boss lane for them.
Johanna also, by the way, not with a cooldown reduction on her trade. Instead, we're seeing Loss of Hope taken as a level 1 talent here. Again, is in a hole for Raynor. Jimmy is going to try and follow up on any stun that they can secure here. And talking about stuns, Zarmony with a dream flank. Shrimpy low and barely getting away here, but that was a beautiful jet propulsion that we saw from Zarmony on Blaze.
Yeah, I'm assuming the teleport was down. Poor Phoenix, or he would have gone for that and instantly gotten the kill. But good cleanup there. Penetrating around may have been enough, but still. Zealots still working on their level 4. Giants grabbing the bottom left. Fnatic doing the same on the bottom right. With the tribute spawning in the top right corner, Fnatic is actually in a good spot here to make this an advantage for them. Ooh, even coming in for a gank on the bottom. Quack able to dodge over it, though. That was actually kind of cool looking.
Yeah, and that was also a really close call because he barely was able to get out of the range of the Condemn.
Yep.
Not sure how much of a follow-up we could have expected from Zeratul in that position. Most likely Hanzo would have gotten away, but any kind of free damage that he can push onto a hero early on will either force them to play more passive or even retreat to the Nexus, which buys you a bit more time. So level 4 talents are now in. Schwimpy again with the behemoth armor on level 4. The difference between his Reyna play and what we've seen from Mena. Nice attempt by Robadoba here to go for the jump stun. But doesn't get it through. Mena already anticipating that and blinking away.
Something that Murden does very well. Chris getting locked down by the scroll. Trying to help his Giants and top lane get pushed out, but Schwimpy will finally clear that up. Hondo actually staying in the south here for a little bit longer, trying to clear up those Giants. Seems like Zealots may be able to just give this one up, try and soak instead.
And Fnatic is making the rotation down to the bot lane with Dehaka, as you would expect. So they're trying to make sure that their global is on the opposite side of the map before they're starting to move in here for the tribute. Hanzo is still at the bottom, as you said, so that is a chance for Fnatic to force a fight with advantageous numbers here. Zeratul himself still a little bit later on the rotation too, since they want to get the lane experience first, and that means that Zarmani is a bit faster here, so 4 versus 3 for a few seconds.
Zealots do have a lot of poke though. Should be able to lay this for a long time, and if they need to, they can bring Blaze in the middle to clear out that lane. Between Stormbolts, Chris constantly poking, and Jad's Moonfire. This tribute shouldn't be grabbed too quickly. And Fnatic, fully aware of that, only puts 3 here, while they have Mene in the middle working on wave clearing. Mene wants level 7 anyways. Zeratul feels like his power spikes at level 7 and level 16. Yeah. Getting that mobility.
And Zealots gave the first one up, as we already talked about. So yeah, they give this one up, they're not moving in for it aggressively. But talking about aggressive rotation, Zeratul on the way down, trying to see if he can do something about Quacknix here. Mena with the dodge as Hanzo goes for the vision. Good move by Quacknix too. He knows that the tribute is already taken, so there is a chance a rotation comes his way. So really nice timing for him just to anchor his side, his flank, and make sure that Zeratul is not moving through to set that up.
Pretty close on experience. Fnatic with a lead on tributes, 1-0. Should be getting Night Cans on the rotation pretty soon, especially with the spawning here in this top right corner.
Stranded Mines, by the way, for Malfurion as the level 4 talent, so not going into Broccoli or the extra zone radius, instead just simply making sure that once there comes here, once there's healing, it's reduced. So already leading up to them trying to snipe someone, and in an ideal world, of course, you want to take Reyna down here. So the thought process being Stormbolt into a root and then making it more difficult for Fnatic to actually save Reyna. And that's a pretty cool tool against Reyna in particular, since of course it affects also his own heal.
Oh yeah, that's a good point there. I was thinking about that. I was like, Dicker Kane, you don't really want to take too much healing away from that, but it's a good point there with Reyna trying to get his own healing out. Should be able to stop him from doing that. Robadoba, speaking with Stormbolts, finds one on Breeze, as we'll be having a tribute spawn in about 5 seconds. Middle lane has a lot of fighting though, and Fnatic is able to find a pick. Last hope of bringing out the drag as well, and Reyna delivers the final blow as Fnatic gets a kill, and now they can make room for a second tribute.
Yeah, and of course Last Hope is absolutely fantastic when it comes to his drags. Like, he lands a huge majority of those. He's fantastic with these engages that he always showcases. Fnatic with the second tribute, as you said, there's no contesting that. Zealots just aren't in a spot where they can allow to try and pull that off. And Mena already rotating into the mid lane to help out. And so far, Fnatic is playing this a little bit slower. They were highly aggressive on the second game on Infernal Shrines, and they actually found their kills early on. But it was just the macro aspect that the Zealots were running through the control of those Punishers. The thing is, though, in this game, Fnatic needs to be careful that the Zealots are not going for boss plays. And this is why keeping an eye on Quacknix with Hanzo is going to become a very important part of the way that they communicate. And since, up to this point at least, Quack was always visible down at the bottom lane, they didn't really have to check too much. But if at any point Quacknix starts to disappear from vision, they are going to make those rotations to check out what's going on.
Now, this might be a do-or-die situation here for Zealots, as a third tribute is about to spawn up and Fnatic can get that curse. But Zealots have been staying pretty close in experience and should be able to get 10, especially the tribute not being here for about another 10 seconds. Might need Robadoba to rotate up and delay a little bit longer here, but that 10 is about to connect, and now we'll see if the Zealots will be able to get the fight they want. Dragon Zero into connection, Avatar is great, and I'm actually wondering if we're going to get Salvo or Planet Cracker. We're actually getting Planet Cracker.
Yeah, again. And keep in mind that Fnatic can give this one up. They get value out of the Haka at the top lane, so they can actually give it up. Mena is waiting here at the side for the first interrupt, and is letting it through. Is in a bad spot. Does know that if he goes in, there's a chance that he gets sniped, so they're not risking anything here. So Mena just simply saying, all right, guys, I don't have it. They have a nice setup here. If I go in, they lock me down, and I might actually fall. I have no escape path available here. And therefore, no chance in this case for Fnatic to get real value out of it. But that's the option that you have. If you have the 2-0 in the leads on the tribute, you can make that play.
He was looking for Hanzo. If Hanzo walked by there instead of Chris with the Phoenix, may have gone in and tried to get picked up. Robadoba taking some damage here in the middle. Pepper coming out as Schwimpy continues to burn him down. There's a Blessed Shield. and Fnatic find another kill.
Yep, well done. Now, of course, those kills don't really give them a lot in experience just yet. It's a small experience tickler that you get for it, but it's only half a level that Fnatic is ahead, and that's nothing really to write home about. The more important part is that you have a period of map control where you can try and make a few plays. Maybe push a tower in or two, try and get maybe a mercenary camp that otherwise you would be a bit hesitant to commit to. Fnatic is trying to angle for all of these spots now. But another Tribute is coming online, and Johanna still has the Blessed Shield on cooldown, so she just used it to confirm that kill. Once again, they're starting to go in with Last Hope. Actually suffering a lot of damage here. Has to pop the trade early. Fnatic might have to give another one up.
Essence gets him to full health though. Choke controlled pretty well, especially with Quack here, but watch out for Mane. Mane is trying to find that angle. The VP being available can move in for the Void Prison, land on multiple members. He can have Dehaka fall up and stay while it's in the Hyperion. Arrow actually coming out. Mane getting locked down for half a second, but he just steps away and Dehaka will channel.
He wasn't the target. They were trying to get the arrow on Shrimpy. Shrimpy was actually down there. They were trying to make the play, but he was so close, so he was barely stunned. Here comes the Void Prison. The curse is also through. Blessed Shield misses, actually, but the Hyperion moves through the fight attempt. Zealots, if they can win this one, that would be great for them. Then the curse is already up, and there's the kill. Johanna goes down. Breeze missing the Blessed Shield here was a huge problem. The curse getting some value at the top and the bot lane, though, as the fight is still going on.
Exactly. They get a kill, but Zealots have to start backing up. They have to worry about their forwards. Phoenix already goes to the top lane to start clearing that out and get that 13. I was wondering why we didn't see the stay a while and listen there from Deckard. Maybe could have saved Johanna, but does not matter. Fnatic with the perfect choice here to go ahead and start pushing in thanks to Dehaka in the top lane. They'll get that fort low, and they leave a few more in the middle to get that fort low on health, and should be able to clear that up later on. So Fnatic will get level 13, but thanks to that kill here from the Zealots, they definitely mitigate the maximum amount of damage that Fnatic could have pulled off.
But Fnatic is still getting a lot of damage through with this, because they just took down the fort at the top lane. They destroyed the one at the bottom as well. So this isn't too bad at all. Considering that they were hero down, if they secure that boss too, that would be great for them. And it's very unlikely that Zealots can contest it. So this worked out way better than expected after the kill happened.
Fnatic will grab the boss. Zealots maybe catching wind of it, start their own, but it's going to be a little bit too late. Dehaka can definitely rotate down. And
oh, that's bad.
Ooh, they're coming down to fight.
Yeah. And
yeah, Hanzo, but it's too late.
Yeah, they make the rotation now, and the boss at the top lane is going for a keep. Don't
Arrow.
forget about that. Arrow comes through.
3.
Planet Cracker, and down goes Jimmy. He's down, and that's the Strangling Vines exactly right there. And also the Behemoth armor. If you get that extra armor out, that might be a little bit better for you. So now the retreat, Fnatic losing another hero here, but still way ahead in the game. But Zealots have to, of course, now worry about the boss pushing through the top lane, so they had to move back with 2.
Yep, they put Hanzo up there. He'll clear that up pretty quickly. Fnatic can move over from the night camp. Robodova sniffs it out. There is 3 here. Phoenix starts trying to rotate down. Fnatic might be overseeing their welcome a little bit. Robodova steps up and control the space. They go for the Stormbolt. They hit Mane. Shag gets the Twilight Dream over the wall. Mane able to blink away. Here's a stay a while and listen, but Chris dealing with Last Hope goes over and grabs the night camp.
Yeah, boss was already taken, and he even gets away.
Wow, I can't believe they all got away.
Yeah, they all got out of this one. It was a scenario where Fnatic was saying, okay, if we take the boss, they're going to contest it because it's just worth so much. But if we take the night camp, they might not be willing to commit to it because it's just less value. So are they really going to risk it? And Zealots were fine doing that since they cleared out the boss very, very quickly here. And now Fnatic is about to face a boss at the bot lane against them. And they were aware of it too. But still, the curse that they executed did a lot of work, and I actually doubt that they would have gotten more with Johanna being in the game or still being there. The important part is really that Shrimpy needs to position himself better, because once that the roots land on him, it's going to be very tough for himself to keep himself alive here in these situations. The kill was very well executed from Hanzo.
Zealots making their first mark on the layer of defense here for Fnatic. First fort could fall here. Being bolstered out by Hanzo pushing in, with Shad thinking about going for a back, especially with the Giants being grabbed in the top left corner. Phoenix should be able to clear that up. Here is that second tribute, up and ready. We have even talents for our team, so no major advantage for either. This is actually a good position for Zealots if they want to grab it, and Fnatic might consider just giving it up as you don't want to push into that choke.
Yeah, they control the top lane. That's really important here because they are continuously pressuring that keep. Shrimpy is now defending down there. Bit of a setup with the stay a while and listen. Here comes a missed isolation. That's a huge problem now because Reyna isn't there yet either. Robodova is finally being attacked, and there's the damage output. Avatar gets used. Planet Cracker on the other hand, putting out the damage. Nice dodge against Harmony, and now Blaze is in a world of pain. He should fall. Great Void as well to follow up the kill if they can avoid the bunker, and they do. Here comes the second kill against Malfuria, and he delays it a bit with the ice block, but he's not going to survive this one. Fnatic with a great move there. The Planet Cracker Phoenix just not enough.
Sidestepping that jet propulsion was huge too, putting Blaze out of position, and then the VP to make sure that he could not jump into the bunker, they could turn around and clear him up.
There's so much that happened there, and that sidestep was massive, because if he doesn't sidestep that, Reyna very likely falls, and that's the end of the fight immediately. But also, another point where Fnatic had actually a bit of a problem. They see Murder moving in, and they use the stay a while listen to keep him in position until the Haka comes in. But then Last Hope misses the isolation, and that was actually a massive problem, because all of a sudden, the fight moved against Fnatic, but then they can't isolate Blaze. It wasn't only Reyna keeping himself alive with a sidestep, but it put Blaze into a really bad spot because he was immediately surrounded by 4. So that was a great fight for Fnatic, and for Zealot became very awkward very quickly.
We're heading to the mid game here, 1-1 in tributes. And 16 about to hit for Zealots as they soak up. Fnatic working on grabbing that camp in the top right corner so they can have a push happening during this entire tribute so they can continue to poke. And their poke is pretty decent now. And remember, level 16, when it comes online for Zeratul, that's when he really starts to shred. Zealots have to try and split up, but they also have to be in a position where they're not getting picked off by Raynor.
Holy Renewal, the Phantom Red has been taken for Reyna. Holy Renewal on the side of Johanna, so a bit more self-sustain here on the end of Breeze. But yeah, Dehaka still pushing out the mid lane. He has the global, and he is determined to use that as they are poking around here. Zealots don't have to fight for this, neither does Fnatic. Both of them are sitting on one tribute, so you can still let one go. Breeze is being attacked here, uses the Iron Skin to move away though. Zarmany still committing to the jet propulsion, but the cooldowns are there. Arrow comes out, Breeze doesn't have his trade available, but there's no follow-up. And talking about follow-up, nice move against Dehaka as he burrows in. Zarmany with a good job, but the problem is now he's slowed, and there's the isolation. But the bunker comes through, and he's able to move away.
He's able to come to 2. Oh, but the drag comes out, and Blaze getting blown up. Here's the VP2. Planet Cracker being used on Smexy to try and dissuade him from standing in the point. Shad comes out with the Twilight Dream. Only gets it on top of Johanna, but he has to use Ice Block. Here comes the Condemn, and that's going to be the cleanup as Zeratul takes out Malfurion. And with all 5 up, Fnatic turns around, looks at the tribute, and they're in a spot where they have a push in the middle lane thanks to the Night Camp.
I mean, they lost the fight, but the value that Chris gets out of Planet Cracker every single time is crazy. It was already impressive on the previous maps, but now he did so much work here. They got 1 kill against Reyna earlier, which was great. In this case, it forced Decker to move away, and he does a really nice job positioning himself properly to get the max value out of it. So very well done here from Chris, but just not enough to give them a fight. 2 heroes down, Fnatic now in a massive lead in experience, and of course the opportunity to make a play for the top boss. But Zealots, they know it. And even with Dehaka pushing the bot lane out, they're very well aware of what's going on there. And Fnatic needs to be careful. This is still an even fight, an even talent fight.
Yes, it is. And with no VP being up for about 35 seconds, it becomes much harder for Fnatic to deal with this. Shumpi already having his straight pop there, going to stay alive. Chris trying to get away, unable to teleport though. There goes the drag in the bunker, unable to save him as he is stun locked out.
Malfurion wasn't there. Robodoba with the Avatar, they're committing to this, but the trade gets popped on the side of Last Hope. The Essence is in. He's trying to get into the Dragon, but there's the Stormbolt and it locks him into place. Now on the other hand, another tribute, the staggered death against Phoenix, and a very good opportunity for Fnatic to not only get the curse, but also get the boss. And Zealots, they feel pressured. They feel they have to do something here.
Yeah, this could be a game-ending push, curse, and a boss. With Planet Cracker about to be up and Phoenix in about 10 seconds, there's still a chance for Zealots to fight this. Stay Wireless and connects. Nature's Cure comes out. Robodoba holding that front line as much as he can here, but he's getting locked down. He has to hop away. Raynor at the same time putting out some decent damage. Jet Propulsion misses, but big Twilight Dream connecting. Here's the Planet Crackers. It hits a couple of members, but Fnatic, they sidestep and they back up.
Phoenix is back. Down goes Muradin. The lockdown with the scroll, and they get it. The damage is in as Shrimpy tries to confirm another kill. He goes in, tries to secure it against Shad, doesn't get it right away, and Shad with a fantastic route, slowing the onslaught down. Blessed Shield comes out again, Mena moves in, Quacknix is low, Breeze follows it up, and that's the kill. 9 kills against 2, 19 versus 17, and Fnatic can now again try and make that play for the boss and get the last and final tribute.
Now, do you get the boss here, or do you go for the big power play? Get level 20, grab the tribute, grab the boss too? Ooh, they're actually waiting for Zealots to come up. They set up a little bit of a trap here. They come in from the side, knowing Zealots had to fight the boss, and Chris with a drag, he gets locked down, he gets taken out. Zarmany is next. next, and Fnatic continues to wipe the Zealots over and over. 11 kills to 2.
That was a fantastic call. They knew that the Zealots can't allow for boss and tribute to be taken, especially with level 20 move coming in any second. So the Zealots had, even with the 3 versus 5, they had to go. And Fnatic realizes it and just simply sets up a flank. And then they go in, hit the isolation this time. Fantastic move by Last Hope, getting that perfectly on point against Phoenix. They get the kill, and now they have Curse, they have Boss, they have level 20. And by all rights, they should be able to, if not win the game outright, then at least take 2 keeps here.
There's no way Zealots can hold this. Being down 20 to 17, a boss pushing in, a curse coming the entire time. There is good news. They have 3 keeps.
Execute is also now in line with the level 20. That's another big problem.
It's true. Things are looking very difficult.
Shadow mending for Mena with Zeratul, trying to get that extra heal in. Extra sustain. 64,000 damage, by the way, for Jim Rayner. Second highest damage is Quacknix with 47,000 on the other side. But here we go. We still have the arrow coming from all the way. Trying to get it. And connects, and the follow-up is there immediately. The kill attempt against Shrimpy, and it works out. He goes down.
Bunker comes out too, but Blaze is also locked down, also getting silenced at the last second. Oh, but here comes Mene, being able to bring up that cleave. Zarmony is actually escaping here. Finally, he gets taken out.
Just kidding.
The boss in the top left continues to get poked down. Quacknix is still alive, but he's against 4 right now. Chris clearing out the middle wave to try and just keep alive, but he has to come over and help his teammates here. Robodoba goes in for a Stormbolt. They lock down Last Hope while Quack is trying to stay alive.
Keep in the middle is definitely going to fall here with the next wave pushing in. Or that might actually even stay in the core. It's the bigger problem, though, as the boss is down to 50%, and it looks like Fnatic is going to take a game here against the Zealots as they're going for it. We have Zeratul falling, but it's just not enough. Victorious is Fnatic in game number 3 as they take it from the Zealots.
Fnatic heading to game at number 3. They stay clear-minded. They find a few kills. They have solid macro play, especially in the late game as they get a couple of picks against the Zealots, and they eventually end it with a boss push. So now we've got a series on our hand here as we have the series 2-1 in favor of the Zealots.
Yeah. That was... I don't know, like, it's 13 kills against 4, but to be absolutely honest with you, with a lot of these situations where Chris with Planet Cracker nearly turned it around, that could have backfired. I was a lot closer than at least the kill count indicates. And Fnatic played a lot better here, and a lot of it was due to Dehaka. Also, this time, even with Blaze, it was easier to snipe down Zamani. Wasn't on URL. Good play. I mean, I really like the way that Fnatic executed a lot of these combos, but the Zealots still, they are fighting tooth and nail every single game here. And they, of course, still have the lead in the series. But I'm honestly very, very impressed of how much in sync they are compared to the previous weeks. And I mean, we talked about that progress, but just seeing them step it up this much, it's pretty awesome. I love it.
I really enjoyed the idea and composition there, having that string of loots to lock down the Rainer and, of course, follow up with the Planet Cracker to get kill. You mentioned the value that came in, but the wild card there was Mene on Zeratul. Being able to disrupt that combo coming out with the Void Prisons and making sure to get in the back line multiple times to keep Rainer alive was enough to push Fnatic over the top. So super awesome job by them. Now, of course, let's go ahead and check out our players here. Zarmony is someone that continues to come out and consistently provide us pretty solid play, especially on top of that Blaze. Let's go ahead and check out the comparison to him against Last Hope, which is the new face around here in HGC Europe.
KDA ratio definitely better for Last Hope here, like Last Hope is actually still impressing. Like, he's doing very well here. Now, of course, Zarmony has also suffered a bit when it comes to his stats from the early weeks that they played, because they got basically ruffle stomped in week 1 and week 2 quite heavily, so that had an impact on his stats for this as well. But Fnatic has also been struggling, as we said before. But yeah, Last Hope doing really well, Dehaka being his best hero, as we highlight over and over again. For Zarmony, it's still Blaze, but that's going to be taken over very quickly by URL if they continue the way that they play. I want to come back to something that you said, and that's that the idea or the thought process of Zealot seemed to be to just focus Jim Rayner. And I actually think that's exactly what they've been showcasing every single game. The Jaina burst damage against him, Phoenix with Planet Cracker right now. I'm curious if Fnatic still says, okay, listen, we played him 3 times now. We still believe that we can take it. Or if they say, yeah, he's strong, and we believe we can make him work, but at the same time, Zealots is really homing in on that. And you can't just watch everything. I mean, you saw the connect when we had the arrow fired from the side, connects with Reyna, immediately the Planet Cracker comes through, and then you have someone like Malfurion who reduces the healing that comes out. And Shrimpy did everything he could to stay alive there, but it was just not enough. So these combos that we see from Zealots are specifically targeting him, and it makes his own play incredibly difficult because you have to watch everything that's happening, even if it's on the other side of the map. You have a Hanzo or a Phoenix on the other side. You have to watch every single angle of engage against you, and it makes it very difficult for him to position himself and get the damage in.
That's why I really enjoyed the Zeratul pickup. It's very, very clever because Zeratul, if he's not being focused, he can do a lot of work in the back line. We'll see if we get more of that here as we head into game number 4 between these two teams. Will Quacknix in the